my dear BSED students. I know you are excited to know our first topic for finals. It seemed that our semester would soon end, and we have last 6 weeks to complete our final term. And to begin with, let's discuss how characters in the stories are being described or given characterization. When we talk about description of the characters, we always remember the term archetypes, right? When we talk about archetypes, I had mentioned it last time or even during the preliminaries that this element is being used to serve as a pattern or a guide on how characters should be described in the story. So we have different archetypes in literature. And for you to know more about them, allow me to share my screen. Okay? Our topic is archetypes in literature. What would be the basis or the blueprints how characters are being described? So if you know that a character is something like this, something like that, you can barely imagine how they would act, how they would feel, how they would speak the dialogue, how would they look like, and so on. Let's first define what archetype is. Okay, so it was given emphasis by the psychologist Carl Jung when he noticed universal patterns in all stories. Why do you think stories would have the same characteristics of actors and actresses, protagonists and antagonists, and other supporting characters? Somewhat, they develop a certain pattern, as well as the culture and even dreams of people. And yes, I told you, Carl Jung defined this as the archetypes. And you know what, class? We have 12 Jungian archetypes. And this were also related to the topic that we will discuss today. And to give you a backgrounder or a brief enumeration of the 12 Jungian archetypes, okay, let's have first the innocent, the orphan, the hero, the caregiver, the explorer, the rebel, the lover, the creator, the jester, the sage, the magician, and the ruler. So those are the types of people that Carl Jung had described when he is talking about characters in the story. But specifically, we will be having the term archetype. So how and where it could be applied. Here are some of the manifestations. Archetype can be applied to an image, a theme, a symbol, an idea, a character type, or a pattern. But today, we will be focusing ourselves with archetypes of characters. It can also be expressed through myths, dreams, literature, religions, fantasies, and folklore. We will also focus ourselves with examples of heroic archetypes. First, let's have the story Odyssey. The main character is Odysseus, right? We describe the archetype as the hero, as warrior. A near godlike hero faces physical challenges and external enemies. That's why we could say that the character functions or acts as a person having a strength or power that could aid him in defeating evil. We can also describe a hero as a lover. Example is the role of Prince Charming, A pure love motivates this hero to complete his quest. That's why a certain character, specifically archetypes of prince, they are traveling, they are motivated to travel because they are looking for women to marry or to protect. That's why they undergo a certain quest and they are looking for, okay, damsels in distress or a female mademoiselle whom they would devote their time with. We also have hero as scapegoat, and one of the best examples for this type of hero is Jesus Christ because the character would suffer a lot for the sake of others. He is willing to sacrifice himself just to save everyone. That is an example of hero as scapegoat. We also have characters known as transcendent hero or heroes. The hero of tragedy whose fatal flaw brings about his downfall. While falling, he achieves some kind of transforming realization or wisdom. Example for this is Shakespearean tragedies. Yes, the Greek and the Shakespearean tragedies because the focus of the story is for the hero to meet a fatal death or a tragedy wherein other characters would realize something or be full of wisdom upon learning from the mistakes made by the characters. Other examples of this one are Oedipus, Hamlet, Macbeth, and others who experience the same fate as them. They are called transcendent heroes. Next slide. We also have what we call as the deviant anti-hero. Opposed to society's definition of heroism and goodness, so this is the other way around. If you are a character known as a hero, of course, you possess positive traits, you possess strength, wisdom, and will to go on. But if you are a defiant anti-hero, defiant anti-hero, this is the opposite of definition of heroism and goodness. Example for this one is Heart of Darkness, Holden Caulfield. Okay, so a poster of the society's definition of heroism or goodness. We also here what we called as the unbalanced hero. Example for this one is the story One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The protagonist who has or must pretend to have mental or emotional deficiency. So later on, we will focus on that as well. The other denied hero, we have the other denied hero such as Edward Scissorhands, the protagonist whom status or essential otherness make heroism possible. So they are still heroes, but then they possess other characters more than what is expected of them. Then we have superheroic heroes such as Superman, exaggerates the normal proportions of humanity, frequently has divine or supernatural origin. So don't worry, class, we will have a deeper discussion for each type of heroes as we progress our slide. Okay, so more of the unbalanced hero. Let's define. The protagonist who has or must pretend to have mental or emotional deficiencies. Examples for this include Hamlet, McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So this is the example wherein the protagonist or the bida pretend to have mental or emotional deficiencies. Then more of the heroic or superheroic, you can see on the picture that these are the common heroes that we know since birth or since we are young up to our age. Okay, so what are those characteristics that made them superheroic? first exaggerates the normal proportions of humanity, frequently as divine or supernatural origins. Of course, they are superheroes. Maybe someone who does not quite belong but who is needed by the society. Other examples for that include mythological heroes and even the modern day heroes that we know, such as Superman, Captain America, Iron Man, and so on. These are some of the many types of archetypal journeys. So let's talk about archetypal journeys. First, the quest for identity. The epic journey to find the protagonist and found the good city. So that's another quest for identity. You need to find something as the character in the story. Another is the quest for vengeance, or if somebody had wronged you, you seek to do the same with them. So that's another example of archetypal journey. Another is the warrior's journey to save his people. The search for love to rescue the princess or damsel in distress. Then we also have the journey in search of knowledge and the grail quest or the quest for human protection. Those are examples of archetypal journeys. Then, let's focus further on character archetypes. These are figures that appear over and over again in stories, dreams, myths, and around the world. Okay, let's dig deeper on the hero. A protagonist whose life is a series of well-marked adventures. And of course, they have unusual birth, often is raised by a guardian. As one best example for this local story is Lamang. As you remembered, he has an unusual birth. And even Hercules, and even who else? Achilles, if you would remember the mythological hero, he has unusual birth, wherein she was submerged into the river Styx for him to be invulnerable. But the Achilles heel that we know, somebody's weakness had made him by submerging the whole body but leaving the ankles or the heels to be submerged, made that point or heels vulnerable, because everyone who submerged themselves in the river Styx would be immortal. But the problem is, since he was held by Thetis, then it was submerged the other way, or the part being held was not been subjected to being submerged in the waters. Further, he will have to leave his kingdom only to return to it upon reaching manhood. Characterized by courage, strength, and honor, the hero will endure hardship, even risk his life for good and all. Another is, the hero leaves the familiar to enter the unfamiliar and challenging world. And also, let's have another archetype of character, the mentor. The mentor is an older, wiser teacher to the initiates, or the one being initiated. He often serves as the father or mother figure. He gives the hero gifts such as weapons, food, magic, or information, and serves as a role model or a hero's conscience. Mostly, the mentor would be a wizard or a guardian, of course, or a creature that would help the character to form or to make themselves familiar with their powers, or to help the characters train, or to give the mission to the characters or the initiates. That would be the function of the mentor. Then we have the threshold guardian. Okay, as you can see on the picture, it might serve as the bantay or the guardian of a certain place. And the role of the threshold guardian is to test the hero's courage and the worthiness to begin the journey. It's part of the hero's initiation, of course. He has to get past threshold guardian to prove he is ready for the journey. And in life, threshold guardians protect us from embarking on the journey before we are ready. Then we also have the shadow. When we talk about shadows, they are worthy opponent with whom the hero must struggle in a fight to the end, must be destroyed or neutralized. Psychologically can represent the darker side of a hero's own psyche. So that is what we call as the shadow. So it's between good versus evil. It's a struggle that might be present to the character, but then it could be destroyed or neutralized for the character to end or the stories to end positively. Okay, so it means it's the good and the bad side of the character or something that influenced the character to be good or bad. Next, we have the devil figure. This character is evil incarnate, or we could say the villain or the antagonist. Sometimes offers worldly goods, fame, or knowledge to the hero in exchange of something. As you can remember from the story of the Little Mermaid, Ursula, what you call to that character, the sea witch, Kay had offered the Little Mermaid or Ariel to have legs and feet, but then in replacement of her voice. So it means the character would offer something in exchange of a possession. Okay, another character is Lord Voldemort, and even Joker, Cruella de Vil, and other characters which are really evil in origin. They are associated with dark and gloomy imagery, and mostly they are outcast from the society or from the place where they originated because of their wrongdoings. We also have positive archetypes. These are the what we call as the platonic ideal. As you can see on the picture, we have Laura from the story or from the character of Petrarch, Francesco Petrarch, for specific term. Then we have Beatrice for Dante Alighieri's stories about Inferno, Paradiso, and Purgatorio, if you would remember. Then we also have the muse Calliope, which or who has other siblings or sisters, which are the muses or the nine muses, specifically concerned with different skills or talents. Okay. So when we define platonic ideal, it refers to a woman who is a source of inspiration to the hero, who has an intellectual rather than physical attraction to her. So mostly, platonic ideal characters are the love interest of the author. As you can see here, Laura, Beatrice, and this one is a mythological character but then has an inspiration to the author as well. Now, let's define who are the damsel in distress, because we are always hearing these characters why they are called as damsel in distress. They refer to a vulnerable woman who needs to be rescued by the hero. It means they are incapable of protecting themselves and need the help of a hero to be free or to be away from the cursed or imprisonment from something or somebody. This character is often used as a trap to ensnare the suspecting or unsuspecting hero. Sometimes they are the characters being kidnapped. They are the characters being pain or made pain. So the character, the hero would come to the venue of the duel, or if there would be a fight against the hero and the villain, then the damsel in distress would be the first to, okay, to be used as an ensnarement of uh, the unsuspected hero. So that's it. We also have the Earth Mother characters, the symbolic of fruition, abundance, and fertility, offers spiritual and emotional nourishment. Often depicted in earth colors, has large breasts and hips, symbolic of her childbearing capabilities. So those are the Earth Mother characters. Who are those? Example in our local story, Mariang Makiling. Who else? Are you familiar with the story of Moana? Okay, the character there, the mountainous, the grassy mountain was once a woman, but then as the time goes by, she undergone several changes and became so mad. That's why the role of Moana there is to bring back peace, or to bring back the good side of that Earth Mother, so the people or the villagers would not find it difficult to find a living and to harness the goodness of nature. So those are some of the examples of it. Then we have also the temptress or black goddess, characterized by sensuous beauty. Of course, they are all pretty beautiful because their role is to tempt the characters or the main character. This woman is one to whom the protagonist is physically attracted and who ultimately brings about his downfall. But the negative side is, even they are enticing or trying to lure the protagonist, even they are beautiful, okay, it will, or having a relationship with them would cause the downfall of the character. And are you familiar with Anas and Queen Dido? Okay, Queen Dido there in the story of Aeneas, in the novel Aeneas, or the epic Aeneas, serve as the temptress or the black goddess. We also have the same character in Odysseus or Odyssey, wherein Circe, the enchantress, tried to attract the main character and not to return to Ithaca. But then Odysseus had realized his goals, his real goals. That's why he was able to escape from the temptress. And of course, yes, they may appear as a witch or vampire as typically. We also have the term cross or star-crossed lovers. What do you mean by star-crossed lovers? Two characters engage in a love affair fated to end tragically for one or both due to the disapproval of society, friends, family, or some tragic situation. So those are the two characters which are meant to fall in love. But the problem is Okay, them against the world. So the family members are feuding. They are disapproving the relationship, even the society and all people related to them are not in favor of their relationship. And of course, at the end, they would be having a tragic fate. Sometimes, the characters would commit suicide or would do other things not pleasing to uh, themselves. Sorry, it's 10:14 in the evening and I'm a bit sleepy. That's why I kept on having errors in pronunciation a while ago. And with that, this would be the end of my presentation for today. And I will be giving more slides or discussion regarding archetypes on my next lecture with you. And with that, I will be leaving you with asset work, which I will upload in the new LMS and you can answer for the whole week. So any time of the day, as long as you complete the task before the next Saturday. Okay? So with that, thank you so much. Once again, this is Doc Chin, your professor in literary criticism, saying goodbye and have a nice day ahead. Okay, bye-bye.